And God said, Behold, I have given you every herb-bearing seed. To you it shall be for food. Genesis 1:29. Man did eat angels' food. He sent them meat to the full. Psalm 78:25. Everyday Manna with Lisa.
Hi everybody, and welcome to Everyday Manna. Today, it's hot. We don't want to heat up everything, the oven and all of that stuff. And I find when warmer weather hits, I want to eat lighter foods. Today, we're going to be making 3 different salads that are 3 of my favorites. The reason being, they're great meals for summertime, but they're also meals that you can pack up and take with you if you're going to go to a potluck dinner or, a dinner after church, dinner on the grounds as they used to call them. Or maybe you've got someone that is, a shut-in or unable to cook for themselves, or maybe they just need a meal brought to them. These are great things that you can do, and we're going to get started on them. Now, we're going to be multitasking today. In this pot, I've already got a 1-pound box of Orzo pasta that I have been cooking for about 7 minutes, and that's ready to go. But first thing we need to do is we need to rehydrate these tomatoes. Now, these are sun-dried tomatoes. I don't like the ones that are really, really hard. These are a little pliable, but they still need to be reconstituted. And I go ahead and buy the ones that are julienne cut. So I have some water here that I've brought to a simmer, and I'm just going to cover the tomatoes with that. And I'm going to let that set for about, 5 minutes or so, and let them absorb some of that water and rehydrate a little bit. And then I'm going to drain them. You can buy sun-dried tomatoes in oil, and I do that quite often. But today, this is what we have. So let's get started. The first thing I want to do is get this pasta out of the water. Now, you can drain it over your sink if you want to, or you can do what I'm doing. And I am going to just use a slotted spoon, and I'm going to get it out of there directly into a bowl, because I want some of that liquid, the water, the starchy water, left on the pasta. Reason being is that starch will help create the dressing. It'll add some moisture to the dressing and keep that pasta from absorbing so much of the dressing. So this is a little trick that I like to do. And I always leave a little bit of it in the pot and then eat it with some butter on it, because I love Orzo pasta. So I'm going to do that today. I'm going to leave that in there and then add some butter and eat it. So let's get that set to the side. Now, here is our drained pasta. I'm going to go ahead and add a little bit of olive oil to that and stir it in there to keep it from clumping together. I'm using olive oil because that's going to be the basis of our dressing. So I'm just going to add a little bit of olive oil to that. And I'm going to set that aside and let that cool for just a minute while we work on some of the other things for that. Now, we're going to let that cool for just a minute and these rehydrate. We're going to start on salad number 2, which is the salad niçoise. Now, salad niçoise is based on a little olive called Nicoise olives. I find that they can be a little difficult to locate. If you are fortunate enough to have a grocery store around you that has a really nice olive bar, you know how some of the grocery stores now, most of the time over there in the deli section, they will have an olive bar. Sometimes you can find the little tiny French olives called Nicoise olives on there. If you cannot locate those, you can use what we're going to use today, and that's Kalamata olives. But the first thing we need to do is cook some potatoes. So I have a pot of water here that I have brought to a boil, and I have just some little red potatoes. Now, if your potatoes are large, go ahead and cut them in half. If they're small, don't worry about it. Like this one is small, I don't need to cut that one. But if they're larger, cut them in half so that they will cook at the same time. This is a salad that has got some potatoes, some green beans, some chicken. It's just a wonderful, wonderful little salad to have. And it really is a meal in one. I'm going to go ahead and put some of these potatoes down in this water. Be careful dropping them in there. We're going to cook these until they are tender. And you'll need about 2 pounds. This was a 3-pound bag, so I don't need all of these. I think that'll be plenty enough. I need to cut that spot out of that one. Let's go ahead and just trim that off of there. And let's just get another one. I don't like the looks of that one. You know, sometimes with potatoes, you just have to, you don't know what you're getting until you cut them open. Now, while those are cooking, we are going to start on the rest of the ingredients, excuse me, for our orzo salad. While our tomatoes are rehydrating, we are going to be dicing up a red bell pepper, which is one of my favorite flavors in the summer. I love red bell peppers, and they are so healthy. I like to cut around the core straight down and then just cut the bottom off, and you've got an easy way to trim up your bell peppers. I'm going to cut this into bite-sized pieces. Cut out the ribs in here, the little membranes, and the seeds. You could use a yellow bell pepper or a purple bell pepper. I probably would not use a green pepper in this recipe, although if that's all you've got, that would be fine, because the green pepper is not quite as sweet as a red pepper. And remember to cut your peppers from the inside. It's a little easier and you're less likely to cut yourself. Fingers tucked under. And these are kind of long, so I'm just going to cut them in half into little strips. These are going to be raw. And as you cut them, you can go ahead and put them in the bowl with your orzo. So we're just going to cut this up into slices. I love salads, and I eat them all the time, year-round. But I do find when the weather warms up, that's really what I want. It's just lighter foods, light soups and salads. I love them. And they're very healthy. So there's that. Now, I'm going to take a quick little break, just clean up my seeds here. When I come back, our potatoes should be done, and we will finish up these salads, and then we're going to start on the third one. I'll be back in just a minute. Alrighty, now our sun-dried tomatoes have soaked, and I want you to see the difference. See how much more pliable they are? They just are softer, and I have drained them, and I'm going to chop them up just a little bit. This is the equivalent of about, I don't know, 20 halves of sun-dried tomatoes. I love these things. I love them roasted with turnips or cauliflower. I love sun-dried tomatoes. They really are good. Now, we're just going to add those to our orzo and red bell pepper. Now, this is a salad that you do need to make a little bit ahead of time and let it be cooling, you know, refrigerate it so that it can be cool when you eat it, chill it down. So it's okay to add the ingredients while they're hot. Now, this is some fresh basil that I picked out of my little herb garden this morning. It is Oh my goodness, such a wonderful flavor. I adore fresh basil. If you don't have fresh basil, for this recipe, do not substitute the dried. It is entirely different. The flavor is entirely different. If you don't have fresh basil, just leave it out and add maybe some flat leaf parsley. But if you can, if you can get fresh basil, then by all means add it. We're just going to chop that a little bit, set it to the side. If you don't have either one, just leave it out. Don't put the dried in there. Now, we are also going to add some spinach. Now, this is a couple of cups of baby spinach. And I'm going to do the same thing to this. I'm going to coarsely chop it just to get those pieces a little smaller. So you're getting lots and lots of vitamins and minerals and iron. Spinach is a superfood. It is really healthy. So we're going to add our spinach to the top of our bowl. Now the heat from the sun-dried tomatoes and the pasta will cause the spinach and the basil to wilt just a little bit, but that's perfectly fine. Let's go ahead and stir that in there. Let me get the right kind of spoon here. Let's stir that all together. Now, you could add any other vegetables that you wanted to this one. If you wanted to add some grated carrot, by all means, add some grated carrot to it. It's just a wonderful little dish that you can make and keep it, if it lasts for a day or two in your refrigerator. It wouldn't last that long around me. I love this salad. If you wanted to slice up some red raw onion and put in there, you can. I'm not going to, because to be honest with you, I don't care for the flavor of raw onion, but there are those that do. So what you can do is slice this and put it in a separate bowl and have it there. I'm going to add some almonds. If you have pine nuts, add pine nuts. They would be delicious in this. Now we're going to make the dressing for our salad. It's easy. We've got some, I'm using white balsamic vinegar here, although it's not white, it's lighter color than regular balsamic. Some extra virgin olive oil and some salt and pepper, and that's it, because the flavors that you've got in that salad are strong and so, so, so good. Need to get the cheese here. So just going to whisk that up, pour that over it. And that's it. If you wanted to squeeze a little lemon over it, you could too. That would add another layer of brightness. Now, doesn't that look beautiful and so good? Now, the final ingredient in this salad, first thing you need to do is always taste your food to see if you need to add any more salt or pepper or any other flavors. Nope, that's perfect. That is so good. I'm going to add some feta cheese on the top, and then I'm going to get this in the refrigerator, and this needs to chill for just a little bit. Oh, that is so good. Stir that in. The feta will kind of soften and melt, and it will be yummy. If you don't have feta cheese, you could substitute it with any kind of cheese you like. Cheddar, little cubes of mozzarella, or bocconcini, which are little mozzarella balls, would be delicious. Any kind of cheese that you like. Parmesan, you could add that. You could add ricotta. You could put any kind of cheese that you wanted in here. If you don't want to put cheese, don't. That would be fine too. But there you go. There is the summer, quick and easy summer sun-dried tomato and feta orzo salad. So we'll just set that to the side. And again, remember, if you want to chop some red onion, what I would do is I find a lot of people are in my camp, that they really don't care for raw onion. So I don't ever put them in my salads for me. But, you know, if you want to, you can. Here are just some little thin rings, little slices. And I would just put them in a little bowl beside it and then let everybody add their own as they want to. Now, our potatoes should be about done. So let's test those with a knife. The reason I want to test them now is, I need a little paring knife. Where's my little paring? There we go. When they're almost done, just put a knife in the center. No, that needs about 2 or 3 more minutes. When they're almost done, meaning they need about 2 or 3 more minutes, then you're going to add some fresh green beans. If you don't want to mix them, what you can do is drain the green beans or the potatoes and then cook your green beans. Now for this recipe, you will need the little small thin green beans. You don't want the pole beans that you've got to cook for a long time. You want the small French style green beans, because this is going to be what you call an arranged salad. And I'll show you how to do that when we come back. I'm going to take a quick break, clean up my mess, get that in the refrigerator, and when I come back, we're going to finish up the salad niçoise, and then we're going to make what is perhaps the easiest salad ever. I'll be back in just a minute. Alrighty, now our potatoes and our green beans are done, and I like to leave the green beans long like that. That one's got one of the little strings from it. I like to leave the green beans whole, but if you want to cut them in half, you can. Now we're going to dress this while it's warm, so let's make our dressing. In this bowl or cup, I have some olive oil and some red wine vinegar. And I'm going to add a little bit of sugar, a little bit of salt and pepper, and some coarse-grained mustard. You don't have to use the coarse grain. You could use Dijon if you wanted to, but I really like that coarse-grained mustard in a salad dressing. I'm going to coat the potatoes and the green beans with about half of this. Just, you know, a little bit. I don't want to use it all because we're going to finish it off with the big dressing there. So we're going to stir this together just to kind of get those potatoes and green beans absorbing some of the dressing, because they really do, and this is a good hint for whenever you're making potato salads. If you will dress your potatoes warm, they absorb more of the flavor. So what we're going to do is on a big platter, if you don't have a platter, you don't have to do this, it just looks prettier. I like to put it out on the platter. Then we're going to arrange some things over it. Now here are my Kalamata olives, because I can't find the niçoise, and I'm just going to kind of scatter those over it. Some cherry tomatoes, or if you don't have the little cherry tomatoes, you can use plum tomatoes. Just chop them up a little bit. Make it look pretty. Just arrange them on there somehow. Then I've got to add a little bit of red onion. Again, not my favorite, so I'm just kind of put it in the corners and let everybody put as they want. That's a good way to do something like this. Then we've got some chicken, leftover chicken. Just put it anywhere you want. This is rotisserie chicken. If you don't have any, you don't have to put the protein in there if you don't want to. Then we've got some hard cooked eggs. These are 6 hard boiled eggs. cut them in quarters. Just cut them in half, and then cut them in quarters, just like this, and arrange them on your salad. You can just put it in, like I'm going to do here, in one area, one or two areas. It's fine. I like to show it with the cut side up so it looks prettier. I love this salad. This is a great light supper. Super healthy. And you could add, you know, again, you could add anything you wanted to. If you wanted to add some bell pepper, some red bell pepper, go ahead, some carrot shreds, whatever you like will work. And then we're going to add some parsley, just some chopped parsley. I'm using curly leaf today. You could use flat leaf or curly leaf. Be careful if you're buying flat leaf parsley that you don't get cilantro. They look incredibly similar, but they taste entirely different. And I'm not a fan of cilantro, so I always smell mine to make sure I'm getting the right thing. I think that's one of those things, you're in one of two camps. You either really like it or you really don't. Cilantro, that is. So we're going to add some parsley just for some freshness all over. And yes, parsley is more than a garnish, my friend. It is a flavor. Adds just a little freshness to a salad like this. Then we're going to make the rest of our dressing, or pour the rest of our dressing, excuse me, over top of everything. And there you go, a wonderful, easy, delicious salad niçoise. Now, let's make a very easy and very popular salad at church suppers or anything like that. This is one of those dishes that the longer it sits, the better it gets. So make this one ahead if you can and let it marinate for a day or so. Easy. I have in this bowl 1 can of cut green beans that I have rinsed and drained. I always rinse mine. 1 can of the wax green beans, parsley all over my hands. 1 can of lima beans, rinsed. And 1 can of dark kidney beans, drained and rinsed. And let's make an easy, quick dressing to go with this. I have some olive oil. Now, I am using olive oil today, extra virgin olive oil. I've got a little bit of garlic here, just chopped garlic. I'm going to add a couple of tablespoons of honey for a little sweetness, and some kind of vinegar. I'm using white wine vinegar today. You could use apple cider vinegar. You could use any kind of vinegar you like. Rice vinegar is very good with this. Oh, about ½ a cup or so. I like my dressings to be on the tangy side. If you don't, you know, use a little less vinegar. Let me get a little whisk here. Whisk that all together. And that's it. It's so easy. But this is one of those salads, honestly, the longer it sits, the better it is. It's a great dish to take to a potluck supper or, you know, dinner after church, or just make it, put it in the refrigerator, and you've got it ready to eat anytime you want it. I love, love, love this salad. So there you go. That could not be simpler. If you wanted to add some fresh parsley to it, you could. It's up to you. So there's 3 easy, very quick, very good summer salads for you to make for your next dinner or your next potluck meal, or if you need to take it to someone, then take it to someone that you know that needs some loving. So there you go. We've got our wonderful, easy salad niçoise that we substituted Kalamata olives for the niçoise olives. If you can find niçoise olives, get them. They are really good. They're little tiny little olives. They're about half the size of a green olive that are common in our grocery stores. But there you go. Then we've got our delicious orzo and feta and sun-dried tomato salad, and perhaps the easiest side dish ever, our 4-bean salad. And feel free to add in any, if you wanted to add an extra can of like the light red kidney beans, you could. If you wanted to add a can of drained peas or some frozen peas to that, it would be delicious. That is just a classic side dish for any picnic or any occasion. There are some recipes for you to try. Let me know what you think, and I will see you next time on Everyday Manna.
Thank you for watching Everyday Manna with Lisa. This program is made possible by viewers like you. Your support is continually needed to keep Christian programming on the air. Please send your best financial gift to Living Faith Television in care of Everyday Manna, P.O. Box 1867, Abingdon, Virginia 24212.